In a quiet town, nestled snugly between two silver hills, life moved with predictable precision. Every clock ticked the same steady rhythm, a monotonous beat that echoed through the cobblestone streets. Tick, tock, tick, tock. It was a town where every shop opened at precisely 8, every bell chimed at noon, and every child was tucked into bed by 9. No one ever dared to do anything unexpected, anything that strayed from the well-worn path, except, that is, for a curious boy named Elior. He possessed a spirit that bubbled with questions that often made the adults around him sigh with a mixture of fondness and exasperation. "Why can't we sleep under the stars on a Tuesday?" he might ask, his eyes wide with genuine wonder. Or with a thoughtful frown, "Why does everyone grow up just to stop smiling?" But his most persistent question, the one that truly tugged at his heart, was always, where did dreams go when people stop believing in them? Elior's mother, with flour dusting her apron, worked diligently in the bakery, filling the town with the scent of warm bread. His father, strong and steady, spent his days fixing roofs, ensuring every home was safe and sound. Everyone in town, with a knowing nod, predicted Elior would one day become a fine, proper man. To them, this meant a man who would finally cease his endless questioning and settle into the town's quiet routine. But Elior simply couldn't stop wondering. His mind was a vibrant garden of curiosity, always seeking new paths and hidden blooms. He carried a tiny, worn notebook, a cherished companion he called his Unanswered Things Journal. Every single night, before drifting off to sleep, he would carefully pen one more question into its pages, each one a tiny spark of hope in a world that seemed to have forgotten how to glow. One evening, as the moon hung in the sky like a delicate slice of lemon in a cup of tea, Elior felt an irresistible pull. He wandered farther than he ever had before, his feet carrying him past the towering clock, past the hushed, sleeping market, and into a narrow, winding lane he had never noticed. The air grew still, filled with a gentle, almost magical quiet. At the very end of this mysterious lane, a crooked little shop stood bathed in a soft, ethereal blue glow. It seemed to hum with a secret energy, inviting him closer. Above its quaint, slightly tilted door, a sign painted in shimmering silver letters read, "The Clockmaker of Stars, repairs done gently." Elior's heart fluttered with a mixture of excitement and awe. He pushed open the door, and a symphony of soft, melodic hums greeted him. Hundreds of clocks, of every shape and size imaginable, hung from the ceiling, not ticking loudly, but singing softly like the sweetest lullabies. Each one seemed to hold a tiny universe within its gears. Behind a counter, bathed in the gentle blue light, sat an old man. His eyes, Elior noticed, were the color of polished silver, and he was meticulously polishing a watch that glowed with the soft, warm light of a distant star. "Ah," the old man said, his voice like the rustle of ancient leaves, a warm smile spreading across his face. "I've been waiting for you, Elior." Elior's jaw dropped slightly in surprise. How could this stranger know his name? The question hung in the air, unspoken. The man chuckled, a sound like tiny bells chiming. "I fix time, child," he explained, his silver eyes twinkling, "and time, you see, tells me who's coming." He then lifted the shining watch, its starlight illuminating his wise, kind face. "This isn't an ordinary timepiece, my dear boy. This measures dream time, and yours, I believe, is running out." Elior felt a shiver of both wonder and concern. What could dream time possibly mean? Before Elior could even begin to ask what those mysterious words meant, the old man gently opened the glowing watch. In that instant, the entire room burst into a dazzling, shimmering light. The air around Elior rippled and shimmered like liquid glass, and he felt a strange, exhilarating sensation. He wasn't falling, but rising, floating effortlessly, higher and higher, as if carried on an invisible current of pure wonder. When he finally dared to open his eyes, he found himself standing on a magnificent bridge. It wasn't made of wood or stone, but of countless shimmering constellations, each star a tiny jewel beneath his feet. Stars like luminous fireflies drifted lazily by, close enough to touch. Below him, stretching into an infinite, breathtaking distance, lay 1,000 floating islands. Some glowed with vibrant, hopeful colors, while others faded into wisps of mist, their light barely perceptible. "Welcome," the old man said, now standing serenely beside him, his voice filled with gentle reverence. "Welcome to the realm of forgotten dreams." Elior gazed in awe, his heart swelling with a feeling he couldn't quite name. It was a place of unimaginable beauty and profound sadness. Each island, the clockmaker explained, belonged to a dream that someone somewhere had abandoned. There were islands representing inventions never built, their gears rusting silently. Others held the echoes of songs never sung, their melodies lost to the wind. And countless more were stories never told, their pages blank and waiting. "But look closely," the man urged, pointing to the dim, fading islands. "When people stop believing they can dream, when they let fear or doubt take hold, their islands begin to fade. They crumble, little by little, and soon, even the stars themselves forget their names." Elior watched, his heart aching as one particular island flickered weakly, its edges dissolving into smoky tendrils. It looked like a child's bedroom, with half-painted walls and a broken kite lying forlornly on the ground. It was a poignant image of a dream left unfinished. "Can't anyone fix it?" he whispered, his voice barely audible, filled with a deep, innocent sorrow. The clockmaker smiled gently, a knowing warmth in his silver eyes. "That, my dear Elior," he said softly, "is precisely why I brought you here." The clockmaker then reached into his pocket and produced a small, delicate paintbrush. It wasn't an ordinary brush. Its bristles shimmered with the soft, ethereal light of the moon itself. He placed it carefully into Elior's hand. "Dip this brush into your courage," he instructed, his voice kind and steady. "Each time you believe in something, truly, deeply believe, you can restore a dream, bringing it back to life with your own hopeful spirit." Elior looked at the shimmering brush, then back at the wise old man, a flicker of doubt crossing his young face. "But I'm just a kid," he murmured, his voice small. "I don't have magic." The clockmaker's smile widened, full of warmth and understanding. "Oh, but you do, Elior," he assured him. "Every heart that still asks why, every soul that dares to wonder, holds a magic more powerful than any spell." He then pointed towards the very center of the vast, star-filled sky. There, floating majestically, was a colossal clock, its gears and cogs sparkling like 1,000 diamonds. "That," the clockmaker announced, his voice filled with reverence, "is the heart of time. It is the grand engine that keeps the entire world dreaming, that fuels every spark of imagination and hope. But its gears are slowing, Elior. Its rhythm is faltering. Help me fix it, and together we can bring back the world's forgotten dreams." Elior, feeling a surge of purpose and a newfound courage, nodded firmly. With a shared glance of determination, they set out across the starlit bridges, ready to embark on their extraordinary quest. Their first stop on this incredible journey was an island shaped like a graceful violin, its wooden curves now dull and lifeless. There, a girl, about Elior's age, sat with her hands resting sadly in her lap, surrounded by the broken, silent strings of her instrument. Her eyes held a distant, wistful look. "I used to play," she murmured, her voice barely a whisper. But everyone laughed. They said music was a waste of time, a silly distraction. As she spoke, her island flickered, its edges dissolving into faint wisps of smoke, threatening to disappear entirely. Elior felt a pang of empathy in his heart. He stepped forward, his own courage beginning to glow. "Play again," he urged gently, his voice filled with genuine encouragement. "Please, play again. I promise I will listen." She shook her head, a shadow of resignation on her face. "There's no point," she sighed, her belief in her music almost completely extinguished. Elior knew he had to act. He dipped his shimmering paintbrush into his own heart, and it glowed with a soft, warm light, a testament to his growing courage. He then carefully touched the brush to her broken violin. A single, pure note rang out, clear and resonant, then another and another, until the air around them shimmered with a beautiful, ethereal melody. The island, as if responding to the music, began to brighten, its colors returning with vibrant intensity. The girl, her eyes wide with surprise and a dawning hope, slowly lifted her hands. A tentative smile, the first in years, bloomed on her face as she picked up her violin. "That's it," the clockmaker whispered to Elior, his voice filled with pride. "You reminded her that her music, and she herself, still matters." Elior felt a warmth spread through him, a deep satisfaction that came from helping another soul find their light. Their journey continued, leading them to a smaller, more somber island. This one was dominated by a desk, piled high with stacks of unfinished homework, each page a testament to frustration. A boy sat hunched over it, endlessly erasing the same word over and over again, a picture of despair. "I keep failing," he mumbled, his voice heavy with self-doubt. "I'll never be good enough, no matter how hard I try." Elior looked at him, a wave of understanding washing over him. He remembered all the times adults had dismissed his own questions as silly or unimportant. He knew what it felt like to be told your efforts weren't enough. He approached the boy with gentle steps, his heart filled with compassion. He reached out and softly touched the boy's shoulder, a gesture of quiet support. "Maybe you're not failing," Elior said, his voice soft but firm. "Maybe you're just learning in your own unique way, at your own pace." With a renewed sense of purpose, Elior dipped his shimmering brush into his heart once more. It glowed with a steady, comforting light. He then painted a single, bright, hopeful line across the boy's desk. As if by magic, the heavy, intimidating books transformed. Their pages unfurled into delicate wings, and they soared into the sky, becoming a flock of vibrant, colorful birds. The boy, startled but delighted, let out a genuine laugh, a sound that echoed with pure joy. His island, responding to his newfound lightness, steadied itself and began to glow even brighter than before. Elior smiled, understanding that sometimes all it takes is a different perspective, a touch of kindness, to turn burdens into blessings. As Elior and the clockmaker ventured deeper into the realm of forgotten dreams, the skies above them began to darken ominously. A roaring storm brewed on the horizon, not of rain and thunder, but of swirling shadows and chilling whispers. These whispers, insidious and cruel, seemed to seep into Elior's very soul. "You can't save them," they hissed. "You're just a child, too small to make a difference. Dreams don't change anything, they're just foolish fantasies." Elior felt his shimmering brush dim in his hand, its light flickering uncertainly. A cold, creeping fear began to crawl into his chest, threatening to extinguish his courage. He felt small and overwhelmed, the weight of all the forgotten dreams pressing down on him. The clockmaker, sensing Elior's struggle, shouted over the rising din of the storm, his voice a beacon of strength and wisdom. "Remember, Elior, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's painting light even when your hands tremble. It's choosing hope even when doubt surrounds you." Elior closed his eyes, taking a deep, shaky breath. He reached deep within himself, searching for the wellspring of his own strength. He remembered his mother's warm, comforting laughter, the sweet, familiar smell of warm bread from her bakery, and the precious notebook of unanswered questions he still carried, a symbol of his unwavering curiosity. These memories, these anchors of love and wonder, rekindled a spark within him. He dipped the brush again, this time with fierce determination. It blazed with a brilliant golden light, like the first rays of dawn breaking through the darkest night. With all his might, Elior painted a single, powerful stroke across the heart of the swirling storm. The darkness, unable to withstand such pure, unyielding hope, shattered into a million glittering pieces. The stars above them, as if in celebration, began to sing, their melodies filling the air with renewed magic and promise. At last, after navigating through countless islands and overcoming the storm of doubt, they reached the magnificent heart of time. It was a colossal clock, crafted from shimmering crystal and gleaming gold, but half of its majestic form was shrouded in a deep, oppressive shadow. Its final, most crucial gear lay cracked and motionless, a silent testament to the world's fading hope. The clockmaker, his face etched with weariness but his eyes still holding a spark of unwavering belief, looked at Elior. "Only a true dreamer," he said softly, "one with an unshakable heart, can start it again." Elior stared at the broken gear, feeling a profound sense of responsibility. He felt very small in the face of such an enormous task. "What if I can't?" he whispered, a tremor in his voice. The old man smiled sadly, a gentle understanding in his silver eyes. "Then the world will continue to tick, Elior," he explained, "but it will forget how to hope, how to imagine, how to truly live." Elior took a deep, fortifying breath, gathering all the courage he had found on his journey. "Then I have to try," he declared, his voice firm with newfound resolve. He pressed his now brightly glowing brush against the cracked gear, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and exhilarating hope. As he did, he whispered every dream he had ever dared to dream, every question he had ever asked, every wish he held dear. To see the stars up close, to make people smile again, to ask questions that truly matter, to live a life full of wonder. As his words, imbued with pure belief, touched the gear, a brilliant light burst forth from its cracks. The broken pieces mended themselves, glowing with an inner fire. With a magnificent, resonant roar, the gear spun to life, and the great heart of time began to tick once more, its rhythm strong and true. Across the vast realm of forgotten dreams, every single island flickered back into vibrant color, their dreams rekindled, their hopes restored. The clockmaker placed a warm, reassuring hand on Elior's shoulder, his silver eyes shining with profound gratitude. "Time flows correctly again, Elior," he said, his voice filled with a gentle reverence. "All thanks to your brave and hopeful heart." Elior looked up at him, a question forming on his lips. "Will I remember this?" he asked, a touch of wistfulness in his voice, fearing this incredible adventure might fade like a dream upon waking. The old man smiled, a knowing, comforting smile. "Not with your mind, perhaps, not in every detail," he explained. "But your heart, my dear boy, your heart will never, ever forget the magic you've witnessed and the courage you've shown." As he spoke, the wondrous world around them began to gently fade, like the soft colors of a sunrise washing away the last lingering stars of night. "Wait," Elior asked, a sudden urgency in his voice. "Who are you, really?" The man's eyes glowed softly, reflecting the fading starlight. "Some say I am time itself," he mused, "the keeper of all moments. Some say I am memory, holding the echoes of every past. But tonight, Elior, I was simply your friend, guiding you to the magic within yourself." He tipped his hat, a gesture of profound respect. "Go home, dreamer," he said, his voice a gentle whisper, "and carry your light into the world." Elior woke up in his own bed, the familiar sunlight streaming through his window. His tiny notebook, his cherished journal of unanswered things, lay open on his chest. For a moment, he wondered if it had all been a dream. But then, a feeling of warmth and certainty settled in his heart. He sprang from his bed and ran to the window, his heart thrumming with anticipation. He gasped, a wide, joyful smile spreading across his face. Every clock in town was ticking again, their sounds no longer monotonous, but filled with a new, vibrant energy. And this time, they ticked a little differently. The bells of the town clock rang 2 minutes late, a playful deviation from their usual strict schedule. The baker, Elior's mother, opened her shop early, her face beaming, and gave out free, warm muffins to everyone who passed by, a gesture of unexpected kindness. And the sky, oh, the sky, shimmered faintly, as if sprinkled with a million tiny specks of dream dust, a gentle reminder of the night's magic. Elior smiled, a deep, contented smile that reached his eyes. He picked up his notebook, his fingers tracing the worn cover. Instead of writing a question, as he usually did, he carefully penned just one powerful sentence, a truth he had learned in the realm of forgotten dreams. Dreams don't fade, they wait to be believed in again. And from that morning forward, thanks to one brave boy who dared to ask questions and believe in the impossible, the town that had forgotten how to dream, slowly, beautifully began to dream once more. Even in a world that feels mechanical or routine, courage, kindness, and imagination are powerful forces. They can restart the clock of hope, reminding us that every heart holds the magic to bring dreams back to life. So never stop asking questions, never stop believing, and always remember the power of your own hopeful heart.